What's up? This is TBRIZ from Briz Beats. So we're gonna do 5 easy tips for arranging hip hop beats. This beat is a boom bap beat, but you could use these tips for trap beats, drill beats, for whatever. We're starting with this track here. This is a project that I built in another tutorial of mine. I'm gonna put the link down in the description if you wanna follow this on how to make a grimy boom bap beat. But if not, you can just pick up with whatever beat you have, start from there. Okay, so what we're looking at here is actually tip number 1. I got a single pattern with a bunch of layers. I got 4 drum tracks because it's a simple boom bap beat that has kick, hat, snare, open hat. And then I got 6 layers here of instruments: trumpets, flute, guitar, clav, harp, and bass. That's tip number 1, is create a track with a bunch of layers. This is going to help during arrangement because you can pop in or drop out layers during your chorus parts, your verse alternations. We're going to get to those as the other tips, but this is just tip number 1. Create a track with multiple layers. I'm not sure what the actual numbers should be, but we have 6 here. And this is going to really help us make our arrangement interesting. So I would say 3 or 4 at least. So if you build your beat like this, I don't know if this is much as a tip as it is just a way to get this pattern into a way that we can start arranging it. But we're gonna right click pattern 1. We're gonna go to split by channel. Boom. Now it's split out that singular pattern with all our layers into each separate pattern. This is key for arrangement because now when I click into my playlist where I'm gonna do my arrangement, I've got all my patterns over here. Okay, and I just clicked here, hold shift, click the bottom one, and then drag all of these out like this. Boom. There's the full beat, every single layer playing. Here it is. Cool. All right, let's go on to tip number 2. It's build-ups. And in order to show this, I'm gonna actually make the intro of this beat a build-up. So let me put all this stuff over here. I guess we'll make our intro about 8 bars, and we'll make it a build-up. So what I mean by a build-up is we're gonna start with not too many elements, and then we're gonna add in elements to build it up until ultimately we get to the next part of the song. So let's see. Let's mess around and find something. Okay, so just by adding a few elements here in the beginning, I've turned this into a build-up, and it's my intro build-up. We don't have this, all we have is a kick, the hat, and the clav just to start. So here's that. It's very bare bones. Good spot to maybe add some effects. Then we're gonna drop in the guitar and bass. So that's one example of a build-up. It's about starting with not that much and then adding stuff in. If we wanted to take this to a more advanced level, I would also recommend maybe throwing some additional effects in there, maybe a swell sound or a reverse cymbal that leads into the next part. There's a lot of different ways you can go with it, but for the sake of this tutorial, we're starting very simple with the idea of just a build-up, and this is one example of a build-up. There's a million different ways you can do it. There's a million different ways you can do everything I'm gonna talk about in this video, so none of this stuff is the only way to do it. So keep that in mind. Tip number 3. The beat drop. For the beat drop, you can do something special for the beat to drop in. And what we're gonna do is a very, very simple beat drop because our buildup was that intro that we just played. And if you notice at the end of the intro, the only thing that signaled my beat was about to drop was I just popped the snare in right here, right before the start of the next bar. So on the 8th bar, I put that snare in because to me, that's like, the beat's about to drop. Watch what I'm talking about. I'll just play the second half of it. Yep, it's building up. And lyrics can help build this up. Beat drops. So that's the beat drop. It's different, you know, every song is different. You play with that and do what you want, but you want to be thinking about it. You want to be thinking, all right, my beat's about to drop in. What am I going to do so the full beat makes an entrance? All right, so thinking about that, full beat making an entrance, what do I want this track to do with arrangement? It's a good opportunity for me to step into tip number 4. We'll talk about chorus parts for hooks. Okay, so we got the intro build up, right? And we got the beat drop. And then what I'm gonna do is put an intro chorus. And I think I'm gonna do the intro chorus for 8 bars. Okay, it makes the intro itself 16 bars in full. It's this 8-bar buildup. It's another 8 bars of the full chorus. Every single layer of the beat is gonna play for the little chorus in the beginning. And this part is optional. Okay, if you're making freestyle loops and you don't care about choruses, then you don't need to put them in. But since they are an option, I'm gonna offer it as a tip. So that's why this is one of my tips. It's an option that I use pretty often. And chorus technically doesn't even have to have a musical signal to let you know that the chorus is happening. There are a lot of tracks where the chorus background beat is the same as the verse beat or very similar to, and just the vocals are changing, just the lyrics are changing. A popular song like Mask Off by Future starts with the vocal chorus. I don't think the beat changes that much, but the vocal chorus does start the song. It hooks the listener right at the beginning with that catchy chorus. 50 Cent in the Club starts with multiple vocal hooks, including the chorus. The chorus beat is a little bit fuller than the verse beat. A lot of Jay-Z songs. Jay-Z, whether it's Jay-Z or the producers he worked with, but a lot of his tracks, especially the ones I grew up with, start with choruses in the beginning. In fact, there's a funny story with 1-900 Hustler. It's a track by Jay-Z, Freeway, and Beanie Siegel. The producer that made that beat, he made a part that was supposed to be the chorus part in the beginning, except all the rappers took it as that was the beginning of the verse, and they started doing their raps when the producer had imagined that they'd start doing the chorus part there. So it's all about perception too. Beatmaker thinks he's making a chorus, and the rapper says, yo, this is where the verse starts, and the song became something totally different. It's one of the reasons that track became as great as it is, because then they had to figure out what to do with the extra space at the end of what was supposed to be the verse, which became the almost chorus part. So they did a bunch of phone calls, like people were calling in, yo, 1-900 Hustler, what's up? What's your problem? And to me, that track is just a masterpiece, and it almost happened by accident based on the story I heard about it. Who knows if it's true or not? But keep that tip in your pocket. Chorus parts. We're going to put one right here in the intro. You don't even have to always start the intro with it. A chorus part could come later after the verse, or you don't have to go with choruses at all. It's all up to you, but that's my tip. All right, next tip, 5, the verse and verse alternations. If you're somebody who's just making a freestyle loop, which is a little less structured type of hip hop beat, you'll probably want these next tips just for your entire beat, as opposed to all this stuff here, which is we're going to talk about verse alterations, which is making the verse part interesting, because it's real easy to take a loop and just do it for 16 bars. And I'm saying 16 bars because I know one of the more popular lengths of a verse part is 16 bars, at least old school hip hop where I'm coming from. I mean, you got guys like some of these pros out here that like to go longer than that. They go 16, they go 24, they go 32. They could go the whole track, but whatever. I'm talking about arrangements, so we're going to talk about an example of a structure. We're going to stick to 16 bars for the verse, all right? So what we're going to do for the verse in this example, I'm going to take the whole chorus. I'm going to take some elements out to make it interesting, to make it have a change. Let's get rid of the trumpets. The trumpets, if you watched when we made this beat, we talked about the trumpets kind of being a support ambient sound and not so much the main melody. So let's leave a little bit of melody in. How about just the guitar? Let's take the clavinet out and let's take the harp out, because that's another sound. All right, let's listen to what this sounds like coming from the chorus into the first verse. And I took the snare out too to bring it back down again. We'll do another beat drop in the verse. So the verse comes in a little bit stripped down, and then the snare is going to pop back in. It's going to do another build-up. We're going to have a build-up within our verse like this. And the bottom line, hot, the bottom, pop. Let's pop the snare in right there. So let's just do a quick little, if I grab here and I hold Alt, I could just drag this out and we'll just watch. Stop. Now the verse just started, the rapper starts going. The beat ain't in yet, but here it comes. Drop. And now it's going in, it's got the snare back. And you see what I'm talking about? Now it gives it a little bit of interesting. But let's cut this back out. I don't want that there yet. I don't want that there yet. Because we're going to do 8 bars of that verse. Okay? The snare pops in. Somewhere in the middle of those 8 bars, we want a little bit of a variation, which is almost like another build-up back to the chorus. So that was tip 1 with build-ups. So we're going to take the whole verse that we just did. Let's fill in the snare because we don't want that to drop. One thing you can do is drop the drums right before the middle part This is just a really easy technique I do. So I got the kick, the hat, the snare, and open hat. Let's just try this. We'll pull it back for one full bar because this is easy. And then we're going to introduce the trumpets. Let's introduce the trumpets, okay? Yeah, that's a good idea. And then we're going to just let that play out for the whole second half of the verse. So let's hear what that sounds like. Maybe you get an idea what I'm talking about. Yeah, because the rapper's still doing his thing. He's on his thing. And we gotta stop right here for the vocals to pop. And now the second half of the verse drops, and there's a trumpet in the background. See what I'm saying? Left some room right there for something special to happen in the vocals, for somebody who's rapping to use their imagination, right? Let's do it again, because it's an easy way to arrange, and this is a good go-to. If you just want to bust out a quick beat and you want to get your idea over to a lyricist and you want the beat to feel like it's not just the same thing over and over and over, that it's got some life to it, these are some really simple tips that you could do to just change it up. So we're going to do that. Again, we're going to cut the drums for a full bar before the chorus comes back in, and then we're just going to copy this whole chorus back in. And that's a transition from the end of the verse into the chorus. So let's listen to that. And now it stops. And you know what else I'm thinking? Maybe even here, I'm going to put the snare part down here. Maybe even do the beat drop thing again, just with the snare back in, because it sounded a little too bare. So let me take this snare. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So right here. Yep. Let's see. There you go. Now it's the chorus part again. And guess what? That's it. That's 5 tips, 5 simple things that you can do. And all I'm going to do with this beat now, besides maybe add some effects or stuff, and you know what? Forget about it. I'm probably just going to leave it the way it is because I'm just trying to bust out a quick beat right now. But I'm literally going to take the verse and the chorus, and I'm going to go like this. I'm going to drop it out all the way out here. And then maybe at the end, I'll play the chorus part twice. And I could do something like fade the volume down while the chorus plays out. And you know what? Real quick, we're going to do a bonus 6th tip for arranging boom bap beats. When you got a chorus outro like this and you want to do a little easy outro part, you double up the chorus. Usually we made it 8 bars. We're going to do 16 bars. We're going to go to the master fader. We're going to right click. We're going to go to create automation clip. All right, we got the automation clip and it made it for the length of our whole track, which is great. That's what we wanted. First of all, I'm going to right click on here and I'm going to copy this value of 80%. Let's copy the value of this one because when I click here, it might move it up or down a little bit. So if you right click, you see that? Whenever you right click, it drags it down a bit. So right click it again, and go to paste value. So it keeps your song volume, the entire length of the song, the same volume. All right. And then we're just going to take the end of it and we're going to drag it all the way down. Now you got an easy outro too in your arrangement. So the end of the beat plays. Yeah. And that's it. And there you go. Now the volume just starts going down. It's a classic way to outro your song. There's a million different ways to do everything that I talked about in this video, but we're talking about 5 simple ways to get a more interesting arrangement going rather than just looping the same thing over and over. Those are the tips. This is it. This is a simple boom bap arrangement. I have this full beat. It's on my Beats channel. If you're interested in listening to the beats I make, go subscribe over there. It's TBRIZ, Briz Beats on YouTube. Links in the description. All right, that's it for me. Peace out. Everybody have a great day.